Happy birthday, dear Kyle. Happy birthday to you. Make a wish, Kyle. Don't miss Trump next time.
Oh, so much. Except for Donald Trump's a piece of shit. Peace out, love you!
In the United States, there are 3 third rails you just don't grab: firearms, taxes, and Donald Trump. The first 2 can get you locked up. The third can erase your reputation, your career, and everything you've built. Jack Black illustrates this perfectly. A seemingly impossible-to-hate performer. A pop culture fixture, a genuine national treasure. No scandals, no theatrics, no holier-than-thou speeches, just pure comedy, contagious optimism, and the vibe of an endlessly lovable entertainer. From School of Rock to Kung Fu Panda, from Tenacious D to his YouTube channel, Jabinski Games, Jack Black was the name that made kids and adults crack up. Then a single quip flipped the script. During a show, he tossed off a joke about Donald Trump, a gag that felt harmless, classic Jack Black energy, but it put him in the crosshairs of Trump backers. The blowback exploded. Cancel tags trended. People who once crowned him Hollywood's last good guy started to second-guess him. And the dominoes fell. Old dust-ups got dredged up. Murky questions about a charity he backed. Politically charged lines from years past. And most of all, how he responded to the fallout around his close friend Kyle Gass and Tenacious D. From universally adored, he morphed into a letdown in the public eye. What actually went down? How did one joke seem to tank Jack Black? And does he really merit this treatment? Today we'll map the freefall of a man once shielded by all of Hollywood to make sense of how, in this hypersensitive moment, nobody is bulletproof. Jack Black, born Thomas Jacob Black in 1969, became a breakout comedy star thanks to volcanic energy and a rare knack for connecting with audiences. He began with supporting turns in films like High Fidelity, but School of Rock turned him into a household staple. As Dewey Finn, the over-the-top fake teacher, Jack delivered a character that was funny, big-hearted, and bursting with music obsession. The traits that shaped his public identity. Alongside his band Tenacious D, founded in 1994 with Kyle Gass, he built a signature fusion of rock and absurdist humor, celebrating freedom and silliness. A major boost to his mass appeal arrived in 2018 via his YouTube channel, Jablinski Game. With its rough around the edges, relatable, sometimes chaotic vibe, the channel racked up millions of subscribers, hitting 4.8 million in just 2 years. Jablinski clips framed Jack Black as the fun uncle bumbling through games, cracking jokes and sharing everyday bits like taco runs or banter with his son. As The Verge observed, Jablinski proved Jack wasn't simply a comedic actor, but an authentic personality comfortable leaning into his goofiness. The channel pulled him closer to younger fans and gamers, cementing him as a multifaceted entertainment icon. Jack Black carved a singular lane, funny, approachable, self-mocking, and reliably joyful. That warm embrace marked the peak of his public glow. But fans didn't see what was coming. This national treasure was about to face real headwinds, as a string of controversies chipped away at the carefully constructed persona he'd maintained for decades. Around 2018, Jack Black hit his first major backlash for publicly supporting Autism Speaks, a charity widely criticized by many autistic people and disability rights advocates. The group has been accused of treating autism like a disease to be fixed, not a natural part of human diversity, backed by campaigns that stigmatized the very community it claimed to serve. Jack's endorsement wasn't merely a slip. It revealed a blind spot about the responsibility that comes with his platform. He performed at Autism Speaks fundraisers in 2013 and 2015, helping amplify the organization. In 2018, he urged donations on Twitter, saying, "Let's come together to support Autism Speaks and help those who need it most," and linked to Give. On the surface, that fit his fun uncle vibe, spreading positivity, but missing the organization's core controversies made him a lightning rod. Early on, many gave him grace, assuming he simply didn't know and meant well. One defender posted, "Put yourself in his place. What if he had no idea about the issues?" Jack Black seems like a decent person. Still, people wondered how a star with resources and a professional team missed such well-documented concerns. The public's first reaction was unusually forgiving. Fans steeped in Jack's friendly, carefree image presumed ignorance, not malice. As one Redditor put it, this shows how much people trust Jack Black. They're willing to pass it off as a temporary lapse. But the goodwill faded as Jack continued to back Autism Speaks without clarifying or apologizing. Frustration grew. An autistic advocate tweeted, "Maybe Jack Black meant no harm, but failing to research Autism Speaks isn't okay. He's accountable for what he promotes." The critique expanded from his initial act to his silence afterward, seen as careless and insensitive. The Autism Speaks episode was the first time Jack's harmless image faced real doubt. He didn't acknowledge the mistake and let it blow over without making amends. Even if unintentional, that set the stage for bigger storms, as fans realized their favorite figure didn't always grasp the ripple effects of his choices. That perceived lack of sensitivity plus the absence of a genuine explanation planted seeds of skepticism about his authenticity and accountability, values that once underwrote the public's affection. While people were still wrestling with his Autism Speaks stance, another fault line in Jack's image widened as his political messaging got sharper. For years, Jack weighed in on politics, but mostly with a wink, keeping in step with his fun uncle persona. Projects like Tenacious D's 2017, "This Government Totally Sucks," or his 2020 mask-wearing PSA, were entertaining, lightly satirical, and broadly digestible. Those bits fit his comedic brand and maintained a safe distance between entertainer and pundit, preserving his appeal across mixed audiences. But starting in 2023, Jack pivoted from humor to more direct commentary on hot-button topics, like the Israel-Palestine conflict and climate change. His remarks on the Israel-Palestine war drew heavy pushback, with some even urging a Kung Fu Panda boycott. When he shared a graphic declaring climate change is a human rights crisis, the reaction turned sour. "So long, Jack. You let me down. Nobody needs your political lecture. You're a professional clown. That's why we watch," one comment complained. Another read, "Man, Jack Black, you've fallen off." Around then, roughly half his Twitter feed became political retweets. The shift wasn't just in content, but in posture. He punched through the entertainment wall that many fans relied on. For a lot of people, Jack was an escape from polarizing fights, a dependable laugh without picking sides. His blunt takes on divisive issues left some feeling burned. Never wade into politics, it always backfires. Social advice warned. A Reddit summary captured the mood. "I love Jack Black because he makes me laugh, not to hear his political takes. Now he's just another preachy Hollywood celeb." The breaking point arrived in June 2024, when Jack openly backed a particular presidential candidate. "A few days ago, my manager called and said George Clooney and Julia Roberts wanted me to help the president. And I said, I'm in. Tell me when and where." Celebrity endorsements aren't rare, but for many, this was the last straw. Some called him a sellout, accusing him of ditching neutrality to ride Hollywood's political wave. A backlash flared fast with calls to skip his projects, including the long-beloved, family-friendly Kung Fu Panda series. Forumans buzzed with let-down fans. Jack Black used to unite people. Now he's just another divide. An informal social poll showed 85% saying they'd lost respect, biased or not. It reflected a clear reality. Taking a side cost him the unifying aura he once had. The star who charmed all ages now looked polarizing, split between stalwart supporters and those who felt he'd wandered too far from his lane. Beyond losing his neutral image, fans began asking whether their national treasure still carried the authenticity they cherished. As the debate over Jack's political line drawing raged, especially after he aligned with a specific candidate, another shock landed, not from posts or interviews, but in a live moment before thousands. Tenacious D was in the middle of its global spicy meatball tour, hitting North America, Europe, and Australia. One badly timed joke, punctuated by a stunned silence, plunged Jack's image deeper than any earlier flash. On July 14, 2024, at ICC Sydney Theatre, just 24 days after the endorsement uproar, Tenacious D played its second Sydney date, overlapping Kyle Gass's birthday, which they'd celebrated on Instagram. A single beat changed the trajectory of Jack Black's career. The tour, heralding the band's return after more than a decade, was supposed to be a nostalgic high, with sellouts and euphoric crowds. But in seconds, an offhand remark turned triumph into crisis, dragging Jack and Kyle into a media firestorm and exposing fractures in a friendship once held up as rock solid. This wasn't a minor on-stage flub. It became the apex of Jack's public collapse, from national sweetheart to someone accused of cold calculus and protecting his brand above all. The flashpoint came during Kyle Gass's 64th birthday celebration. In the middle of Dear, a back and forth unfolded. Kyle Gass said, "Don't miss Trump next time." Under glittering stage lights, Jack, wearing his trademark grin, brought out a cake, handed Kyle the mic, and jokingly told him to blow out the candles and make a wish. Expecting a classic Tenacious D gag, the crowd froze when Kyle blurted, "Don't miss Trump next time." It referenced the near-fatal attack on former President Donald Trump the day before, July 13, 2024, at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. "Happy birthday, make a wish. Don't lose Trump next time." That event left one person dead and two critically hurt, jolting America and the world. However you read Kyle's irreverence, the line detonated, igniting a full-blown PR nightmare. A fan video captured the moment. A few stunned seconds, Jack stiffening beside him, smile gone, posture tense. Initial chuckles evaporated as the seriousness sank in, and the clip tore across the internet. Outrage arrived within hours. Australian Senator Ralph Babbitt called Kyle's line disgusting and urged deporting both Jack Black and Kyle Gass. Promoting political violence is unacceptable, period. Australia's UN Ambassador Kevin Rudd also condemned it, saying the joke made him sick and was indefensible after such a tragedy. Jack's response came fast, but poured fuel on the blaze instead of snuffing it out. On July 16, 2024, he posted to Instagram, "I was blindsided by what was said at Sunday's show. I will never condone hate speech or endorse political violence in any form. Ask ChatGPT."